everyone.
1 second, he needs to,
There we go. All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dr. Carolyn Smith. This is the Committee for Persons with Disabilities regular November meeting. I'm happy to see a couple new smiling faces. And so we're going to start off. We're going to call to order, and I'm going to go around the room and introduce yourself and who are you appointed by and something very cool about you before Thanksgiving.
Okay, I'll start.
There you go. I looked at you.
You did look at me. I'm Jeanette White Shelton. I'm appointed by Tara Lotson-Reamer, District 3. And I just figured out, this isn't to do with Thanksgiving, but I figured out that a college classmate of mine is the president of Parade of Roses, the Rose and Parade, the Tournament of Roses.
That's pretty cool.
Society. So I'm just gonna see what I can do with that.
This is what you're
Very
going
cool.
to do. This is what you're going to do. This is going to be you and your future guest.
Anyway,
Super.
that's that.
Susan Madison, District 4, Joel Anderson, but elected by this body because I'm a member at large. Large member.
My name is Dr. Carolyn Smith. I am your chair. I am a 100% combat wounded Army veteran. And not only do I sail, but I hike in the middle of nowhere and I bring rocks back that are garnet and amethyst and everything and turn them into fantastic jewelry to wear. Skip her for a second, we'll come back.
Okay, hi everybody, Julie Neward, District 5, Jim Desmond, new, this is my second meeting, I missed the last one. Something unique about Thanksgiving, I am of Slovak heritage, my mom's 100%, and she usually makes this nice nut roll, and I made it for the first time, and my husband ate it, so that was good news. I'll keep going, but it's a huge win for me, because I don't cook or bake.
Yes.
Thank you.
Go ahead, we'll get.
What was that?
Who are you? Get appointed by and something cool about yourself.
Okay, my name's Brennan Pearson, from District 2, Joel Anderson. And cool about myself,
Okay.
I'm physically active, I like to surf. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Like to surf and work out. Yeah, very cool.
I forgot my Thanksgiving. Well, it's a time to be grateful,
It is.
and I am very grateful for this big group. I like it. And I like the staff.
Yeah, we don't leave out our staff.
Yes, Lori Hansel here, District 3, appointed by Tara Lotson-Reamer. And a cool thing about me is that my service dog is here today for the second official meeting in this capacity on the committee.
I got a little nose nuzzle.
Oh, we won't talk about that. We will address that later.
And Michelle, do you want to introduce yourself?
Michelle Krug, representing District 4.
Okay. Jaime, standing in for Katie.
For Katie, yes. Jaime Monreal, I'm here to support the committee in an administrative role, and something cool about myself. I have 5-year-old twin boys.
Very cool.
And our fabulous Todd.
I'm Todd Hood and I am staff liaison for the committee. And did somebody say ski?
Sure.
Oh, I heard surf. Okay. So I don't surf, but I ski on as many things as possible. And then we also have Jessica Kramer from the committee.
Jessica, do you want to introduce?
Hi, everyone. It's so great to have this meeting focused on everyone in a round table. I can see everybody perfectly, and it feels like I'm right there with you, even though I'm not. But I'm so glad that I'm able to join via Zoom during the viral season where I spend a lot of time by myself and with my service dog. And one thing that's special about that is to really learn to be my own best friend. So my Thanksgiving will be spent with much gratitude for my health and my life and for all the people around me that make my life wonderful, like you guys. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. Agenda item number 2, this is our statement for just cause and or consideration of a request to participate remotely if applicable. Do we have any just cause? Anything?
Not that I know of. Todd, you know, confirm.
I don't think so. 'cause
Oh, do we have any
we're all
just cause?
accounted for.
Yeah, everyone's here, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't follow.
Everyone's accounted for.
Okay, thank you. All right, agenda item number 3, we need to vote on our October meeting minutes. If you didn't get a copy, this is more directed to the new folks. You're welcome to abstain if you have not read it. Remind yourself of that. Can I get a motion?
So Carolyn, who are the new folks?
Oh, so this is Julie Neward and this is
Brennan.
Brennan. Sorry, Brennan.
Pearson.
Which district?
District 5 and District 2,
Brennan is 2
and Julie is 5.
right, I didn't know we had no people. I'm blind, so thanks.
No worries. Can I get a motion for, anybody have a question, questions, comments, concerns, for the meeting minutes, October? If not-
Accept the minutes from October.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
I
All those opposed? Any abstains?
Abstain.
Oh, geez.
3 abstains.
Sorry.
Yep, no worries.
By the way, they're attached to the email, always that Katie and them send us lots of attachments.
Thank you.
I think you probably know that, but just in case.
Jessica, were you a yes? Yeah, perfect. Okay. Ooh, just barely. We passed. Okay, good. Thanks, everyone.
No, if you went ahead and not if you need auto.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was focused on something else. She gave a thumbs up. Oh, you know what? Yeah.
I can give a
Jessica,
verbal yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. This is our agenda item number 4. This is the non-agenda comment. The members of the public may address a county issue not elsewhere on this agenda. Each speaker may take up to 2 minutes. Speakers will be limited to less time if several speakers have requested to speak on the same issue. The Committee for Persons with Disabilities is prohibited by the Brown Act from acting on or voting on any issue that is not already on the agenda unless deemed to be urgent. Do we have any non-agenda public comments? Going? Oh, we have a hand up, John.
Hi, everyone. John Brady here with Lived Experience Advisors. Hopefully you can hear me.
I can, John, thanks.
Wonderful. I wanted to let everybody know that HUD is making significant changes to the appropriation of funding, and we are moving away from permanent housing solutions towards what we used to do, which is transitional housing. Regardless of what your opinions are on this, it is a tremendous shift. It means that people will be largely put in group living environments, and the time frame is limited. And the way that, with the rush of all this, I am concerned that because it is HUD funding, you have to have at least 90 days of operational funding in order to operate and put a proposal forth. And we don't have a source for that. So in my mind, people with disabilities are going to be the folks that are going to be last to be served. And I think that there should be some discussion about that.
All right, John, thank you for your comment. All right, let's move on to, do we have anybody else?
Jessica.
Yeah, so I would also like to share with the group that I have, as an advocate, helped a number of extremely vulnerable people with disabilities find permanent housing through what is called the emergency housing voucher, and through the Office of Homeless Solutions, which is a county department that was recently merged in with our housing commission. Sorry, this acronym is always really hard for me, but it's our housing commission that is called the Housing and Development Department or something close to that. And so the emergency housing vouchers were part of federal funding. They were clients were served through the Office of Homeless Solutions and partners, and then the emergency housing vouchers were issued by the County Housing Commission. There is now a cancellation of those emergency housing vouchers. That is not something that's going to be fixed with funding or voting or court or anything. It has been terminated. Again, it was a very rapid permanent housing solution for many of our most vulnerable, and it was intended to last 10 years and then be merged into the Housing Choice Voucher. Unfortunately, every recipient has already received their letters and phone calls within the last month from the County Housing Commission that their vouchers will be terminated and they will need to leave their homes by fall of 2026. And the county has not come up with a plan yet to prioritize social services or case management or prioritization on other permanent housing lists like the permanent supportive housing, which allots a home plus supportive services for the person's lifetime. That is an extensive wait list that could be prioritized for these individuals losing their housing vouchers. But as of right now, there has been no plan by the county to help with prioritization or to help find other housing solutions for these individuals. And so they are being advised to terminate their leases, and most of them will end up back out on the streets. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Anyone else?
Yes.
You can, absolutely.
So if, in order so that we can get the microphone, if you speak up,
Always till you're done.
it's your turn.
My name is Sergio Padilla. I'm diagnosed with chronic pain syndrome. Worked at the sheriff's department 20 years, work related. Yeah, I'm kidding. And my experience is that this is about parking at a for-profit. I wrote a letter. I'm a guest of Joshua Dunn, who asked me to come here. What happened is that at the Hilton, I had no choice. It's up in the hill. There's no way you're gonna go down. And I told them that I have a handicap. They say it's gonna be $11 a night. So there's no exemption, no sympathy, no indemnity. So I just dismissed it, wrote to Hilton, got the silent denial. They didn't respond at all, wrote twice. So the attitude was, we don't care, at a for-profit industry. Same thing with, when I went to LA, I went to the Peterson Museum, $21 for parking. Again, downtown, you can't park anywhere. It's a nonprofit, but yet they charge for an hour, 21 bucks. At the Hilton, it was $11 a night. And, I'm here saying that I like to see legislation for profit only, that parking should not be charging. And that, because we're captive, we're like prisoner, we have no choice. And so with this, I'm emphasizing for the for-profit industry, hotel accommodation, even here, 3 hours, anyone with handicap parking, they charge you after 3 hours. So being that I have no choice but to pay for it, otherwise someone else who doesn't have a handicap has a choice for he or she to look for another parking area. So my emphasis is looking for literature so that for profit only, that it should be free. I'm also making a campaign on Century that for the community of going into Mexico, I have written to my 3 council senators and representatives for we shouldn't be charged for a medical reason only to go into Mexico because I personally cannot wait in a 2-hour line. That would kill me. It's not that day, it's the next day when I wake up an injury, that it's just, when I went to the museum, the next day I call it defrosting. So I'm emphasizing that literature be introduced so that for-profit only industry, that they should not charge for handicap parking under the ADA. Let me emphasize that. It's reasonable, it's an accommodation, and that's the request. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I just wanted to clarify, because you said literature and legislation, if it was both or one that you were calling for?
Either or,
Okay.
the objective is to have it recognized and also an introduction of being more sensitive towards those in need.
Okay. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Anyone else? Going, come on.
I'm curious, I have a question.
Well, yeah, you can't. So it's in this, yeah, it's, thank you for
We
the
can put
info.
It can be
Agenda for
taken as,
Yeah,
it can be taken as an agenda item.
yeah.
To make sure we
Well,
understood.
but you could do a clarifying question if you need that, but,
Yeah.
but only to him.
Only him, okay.
Yeah, because we can't discuss it. All right, moving on, agenda item number 5, Lipwell Advanced School Summit and Conference debriefs.
Yeah, well, we did good.
And
Really, really good. There's that, because we were good. And, do you have any questions?
You know what, Todd, when you sent out the email about what our feedback was, where did that go anywhere?
Yes, it did.
Okay, good. Because my feedback, if, I don't think you were at the Live Well, that's okay. The really interesting thing to me is at lunchtime, they had this lovely disabled placard, for lunch line, separate from the normal folks. But then after about 5 minutes, they realized, you good? Okay, they realized that the line was out the door, and then so they put that placard away, and then everybody came into the disabled line, and then that sort of defeated the point. Yeah. So I hope that does go somewhere, because maybe they need to do 3 lines next time.
It went to Liz Wellbrook and then she presented, there were several members who shared input. And I provided that to Liz.
Okay,
Yeah.
great, thank you.
they did have more lines this time though.
For
Did
lunch?
they? For lunch.
He said there was one.
So
Yeah, but just lines in general, because I think last year they had I thought they had one table and you could go down either side. Now I think there was 3 or 4 tables.
Yeah.
It
last
seemed
year
to
that
me
was
like there
one.
was, the lines were way, way long, and this time you just walked right up if you wanted to.
Yeah.
At least when we were.
It seemed the same to me. It was fun for me. But our workshop really, did really go well. I think that, it could have been better attended, but you don't ever have a choice about that. There were probably 25, 30 people there. There was about almost 2,000 at the whole, conference, which was very well attended, great speakers, and great workshops, all going on at the same time. So then you just don't know, how many will come. We had time for just 3 or 4 questions, but people were engaged, I believe. And Summer Steffen was fabulous. She was very personable. If you've ever heard her speak or about her things that she works on, she's extremely sincere is what I always get from her and her staff. And the sheriff's department presented on the blue envelope program, and Jeanette represented our committee. I facilitated the process. It flowed really well. And I think it's wonderful that we can think about it for next year. It's always in October. It is a seemingly long ways away and right around the corner, all at the same time. And it has to be on a collaborative type of project. So if we can work with someone in mind this year, the work that we're doing, if it comes up and you think, oh, that would be a good topic for a workshop. We have to work front end to create that, that idea.
Yeah.
And follow it through with another county, agency, I would assume. So that's kind of my report.
So if you, have you two attended any of Livewell's, conferences throughout the years? It's essentially just what it sounds like, right? It's, at the convention center, and everybody that's in sort of that industry of living well in San Diego County, is there. But it extends into like SDG&E and, medical and all these different things. So, these fabulous folks, created a presentation. So next year, if we want to do that again, consider names of the presentation, and then what does that look like? And then if we want to present again next year, we'll have good topics. There's a lot to talk about. We just don't want to sort of replicate what anybody else is already presenting, so, keep your ears open to, maybe the latest and greatest topic to get ahead of it. Yeah.
Lori Hansel here. I'll just add that Sue, I counted about 45 to 50 people there. That was counting committee attendees. It was
Oh,
I
good.
think it was between 45 and 50.
Yeah, I didn't count. Thank
Including
you.
one's been able to, yeah. Yeah, our committee did a great job, specifically Sue and Jeanette. And I took a lot of photos and videos that I'd like to upload to a Google Drive or something and share, and they could be shared publicly with a link or something.
Oh, that'd be nice.
So I'd edit them first. But
Yeah, it was
I
like-
recorded a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That wasn't okay, so I'll tell you. But just in the room, yeah. Yeah, it was wonderful, and it's, anybody who's listening, if you get a chance to go, you need to register early. It sells out quickly, but it's a great, great opportunity. It's a good opportunity to network, but it's an even better opportunity to listen and learn.
And then not only that, if you're a committee member and you choose to go, the year prior, we had a booth, right? And then, so this year we didn't have a booth, we did the, presentation. So if you do go, you will get, paid for gas by the county, for your attendance. So it's kind of like a, hey, if you come out, you'll get candy and free lunch and gas. So that's our little tidbit, that one. Anyone else?
No, it's Jeanette, I just wanted to say that I thought we didn't have a ton of time at the end for questions, but people stuck around.
Yeah.
Summer stuck around and was having pretty long conversations with, individuals who had asked her questions and followed up, so there was a lot of networking happening, and then finally they kind of had to boot us out of the room because the next session
Yeah.
was gonna start, and Summer stayed in the hall, took pictures and.
Yeah, and if you two don't know who Summer Steffens is, she's the district attorney. Just in the event you guys didn't know.
Everybody was impressive, but she was especially impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
All right. So keep your thinking caps on for October, because it will come fast. All right, we're gonna go to agenda item number 6. That's the hazard mitigation plan, Office of Emergency Services, and is Nicholas.
And so that's gonna be tabled,
Because it says literally tabled, right? Got it.
Table because.
Very little cat.
He was-
Thanksgiving.
he was ready last Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nicholas, Dave.
So this will actually.
He was gonna do a hazard mitigation plan from OES.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move into our working session.
You would be, or Jeanette, could you say louder what you just said? About what this is, just whatever you just said to Michelle.
Oh, I just told her
Yeah, but
what
for
the
anybody else.
presentation was from Nicholas Dubel was hazard mitigation plan, Office of Emergency Services.
And for everybody, just so perhaps we can do our own research and be more prepared on our own if we have the bandwidth when he presents next time. For instance, I had to ask, what are we talking about? What hazards? So this everything from natural disasters to an oil spill to a chemical spill, et cetera. But if you're able to look at the plan on your own, which you should be able to find very easily, and I'm sure we'll maybe get materials before the next one, but he's gonna present, but be doing whatever you can so that we can, be more informed to get more out of the time and ask good questions for everybody.
And the one thing that we kind of strive to ask is that if you like, even for you two, like you can suggest somebody to present, right? If you know a space that would inform us and they're interested in participating. Typically what happens is they'll come and present how awesome everything is, but they won't tell us about the gaps. So make sure that if you're asking a presenter to come, remind them, hey, look, we know you're gonna tell us all the awesome stuff in the first couple minutes. But this committee, the whole point of us is we need to find the gap that you need help with. And if we can't find your gap and you always tell us, you know, the things are going great, and we know that's not necessarily the case, then we can't really do our job effectively. And so our whole goal, of course, is to provide recommendations to the to this board, and then from there it goes to the board of supervisors, right? So in order to be effective with change, we need to have folks come in and tell us what is going right, what is going wrong, and then collectively we find a gap and then we chat about it. And that sort of leads us into our strategic focus areas. If you folks have not gotten the document for the strategic focus, Todd can send that to you if you don't have it.
I believe it was at our table today again. I could be wrong. The strategic focus areas for 2025.
Yeah.
Or that's my copy.
Yeah, I was like, this is
I have,
new.
I have.
So if you guys
previous
don't have a
meetings.
copy, Todd can probably hook you up with one of those.
I think we've had it at the
We've had
meeting you
several
were
meetings.
at, the September meeting.
But she's saying they wouldn't have it.
No,
No, they would have
not.
it from September.
Yeah,
Gonna have to make a binder.
Yeah, the binder helps. I have a copy here if you'd
A
like.
good
from our
spreadsheet and a
September
good binder.
yeah.
meeting.
that's-
Never have enough,
Never.
unfortunately. Never enough. You guys are welcome to send this out.
So many months ago, this body collectively decided on 4 subject areas. First one is emergency preparedness and public safety. Second one is transportation accessibility. Third one is housing accessibility, and the fourth one is behavioral health services and crisis stabilization. Those are our strategic focus areas. Inside of those areas, through the course of a couple meetings, we kind of distilled what everyone wanted to talk about, and came up kind of into some subcategories. So for today, because it's such a big thing to chew off, we're gonna talk about the emergency preparedness, public safety. So you guys probably have a copy of this fabulous document that
Laura,
Laura crafted, and Sue is going to get us in the weeds a little bit.
Yeah, I just think that I know you were there, Brennan. And Michelle, we were talking about emergency preparedness before. And we seem to be sort of struggling about, well, what are we already doing? And the county is doing a lot. SDG&E is doing a lot. Red Cross is doing a lot. And the State Department of Aging issued a planning document for people with access and functional needs, which is us being a senior or somebody with a disability. Access and functional needs, I think we addressed last time, also includes children, people that are homeless, and more. The first thing I think we weren't all on the same page about, perhaps I'm wrong, is all people with disabilities need to be notified.
Yes.
Well, how do you get notified?
Text message alerts,
By who?
SD.
Alert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alert San Diego.
Alert San Diego.
There's also a great website, ready.gov. Alert San Diego's beeping up everything. So, landline is always listed. So if you have a landline in your house, you're automatically in. It's like the reverse 911 system. And if you don't have a landline, like I do, I have only my cell now in the house. You can register that. How many are registered to be alerted?
Not bad.
Yeah.
Good.
How many have landlines?
No.
For me, Jeanette,
It's the, I refuse to give it up. It's the phone number I grew up
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
So I'm not dropping it
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I'm glad at that.
Michelle, did you sign up for Alert San Diego too?
I'm not sure. I do have some alerts, so I will check that. I do not know.
Yeah,
For
and I
sure.
can I can help you do it if you
Okay.
need me to, or somebody else.
No, I'm glad to have it.
Okay,
I don't
because-
lose anything by signing up.
No,
No.
no, yeah.
because it's really nice to be, for me, to know that somebody's on that and they will bing me and say, get out now. But certainly there's evacuations and then there's warnings. So if you have a warning and everybody hears that on TV or radio, fine, great, pay attention.
Jeanette, have you done both? Because if they contacted the landline and you're not home.
I do both.
It's on smart. Yeah.
Yeah,
Question.
Yeah.
You know, the Amber Alerts
Yeah.
is now, how does this cross over with that? Like,
I have no idea.
I don't think it's,
I think it's different.
I think it's on a different, alert system,
What
right?
Amber
Because
could be like.
San Diego, San Diego Sheriff or PD are the ones to initiate, the alert. So
for Amber?
for Amber,
Amber, yeah.
It's Alert
Yeah.
San Diego, it looks like possibly too.
yeah,
But
I
it
think it's a
doesn't
look
matter
into
because
that
it's
alert.
different.
Great
This is
question.
the alert.
yeah.
It
I'm
is a
just-
good question.
Yeah, I'm just curious if you know, because not everyone can, read the text or not.
It's
everyone-
me.
Yeah,
Right, so I'd love, that sound is distinct.
Yeah.
It is.
Brr, 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 and in a room, right? So, and I'm curious how they differentiate emergencies, like maybe there's some emergencies that would only impact people with disabilities that they could still give a verbal sound to. I don't know, I feel like that could be looked into.
yeah. See,
If
that-
you wanna look into that, I think
Yes.
that's great. And if you really, if you would go to alert,
Do we have
Was
a
it
contact?
Alert
Like-
San Diego,
You
Like,
might be able to get one. from
So,
Sean.
so always look to the support staff and be like, hey, what you got for us? And then if not, then we'll do our due diligence to try and sauce it out.
but I'm not gonna, I'm not. We don't know everything, but if we have questions like that, literally, I think it's really effective that other people will have those questions too, Brennan. And then I think it's good for us to literally know. So I'm not trying to push off stuff to you, but that's, I think, our job here.
no,
I could be wrong, but we're all volunteers and Laura and I have dug in a lot on this.
would everyone agree that having a verbal, or not a verbal,
It's
an auditory
usually-
sound
Yeah.
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
be valuable with alerts?
Yeah, so it's almost like watch duty.
Because this bring up watch duty.
Yeah, so watch duty, you have watch
You
duty?
don't like it.
So it's amazing. I live in rural East County, and it gives a very distinct alert tone when a fire starts, right?
Okay.
And so, there could be some synergy between,
Yeah.
any of those apps, because it's an app as well.
Watch tower?
Watch duty.
It's a nonprofit. It does not guarantee any results. You, number one, want to be signed up with the county. However, Watch Duty is a nonprofit that I get some of my best info from because people update it in real time that are just citizens on the scene, residents, et cetera. And it does you can change your alerts to have an auditory alert or not. You can look at countywide, or you can see what's happening near you. For me, most recently, it's been helpful with fires. There was a very large fire very close to me that was very fast moving. And thank you, San Diego County, for having great planning and saving us. They put it out really fast, but I depended on that and I did not get an alert otherwise.
Yeah.
Because they probably knew maybe they knew it wasn't gonna be needed, but I was happy to be getting ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you live?
I live in University Heights and it was a fire across from the mall in Fashion Valley.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that one. I
Yeah, that was,
in
it was
that day.
very, it was very close to apartment buildings.
You know,
and such.
you bring up a good point, because the last fire that was in, not in Canto, but, Rancho San Diego.
Yeah.
That one, I only got the alert on watch duty and I didn't get it on Alert San Diego. So, so maybe there's some partnership there between those two folks that we could,
A lot of
recommend
times
to the
it's-
county.
Yeah, and they're all coordinated together, so Red Cross, for instance, has a huge situation room where they follow cameras, da. SDG&E, huge situation room, watch fires, and certainly the county, Office of, Emergency Services. They, the second thing we all need to really do, regardless of a disability or not, is get a kit
Yes.
or create a backpack.
What's the word you said? Oh, get a kit?
Get a kit,
Okay, thanks.
get a kit. And this is all in this 400-page document here that you've all had access to. And I'm not gonna go into it now, but you have to know about it, because it's a huge document from the county specifically around evacuating in a personal disaster for people with access and functional needs. But I'm reading off of Red Cross stuff, and if you look it up on SDG&E's resources for things, you'll probably find the same information. So we have to be informed. We sign up for alerts, we get a kit. What would we want to put in a kit in case we had to evacuate?
You want me to fill in here, Elsie?
Well, just throw anything out that you
Yeah.
can, Julie.
Well, so I know that Laura and
I
I.
asked Julie.
Slow your roll on.
It's not a trick.
No,
No,
okay. Good question.
obviously, you've never had to evacuate.
No, but I shared my brother did.
Yeah,
Just got
so,
his plan stamp to rebuild.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
so you take, but
Good one from him.
maybe you take a
Took his
purse.
kids.
Maybe you take a purse.
Yeah.
Maybe you take, okay.
You
So,
would take your
rest my
documents.
case.
You take your
And
documents.
Carolyn, you have something to offer, but I'm gonna try to kind of stick to topic,
Go ahead.
if you don't mind. No, really.
No,
So what would you take in evacuation?
so I already have mine. So
Good.
I have my go bag, which has my passport, social security, all, legal documents, and it's in a backpack, and then, medication for myself, medication for pets, in my truck, cause I hike a lot. I already have water. I have actually sealed water. I have food. I have emergency blankets. I have a pickaxe. I swear to God, I have a pickaxe. And I have sustainable water, sustainable food, and a bottle of wine, because it's always incredibly important. I'm not really a drinker, but I assume that would be
Well, I think
a
that's- Yeah, that's your recommendation. Yeah, in your truck, yeah.
Yeah, so I worked at a former job, I have a fire box, like
Yeah,
a
it's the same
fire
thing.
cabinet, so I have that with
Yeah.
all my documents in it. So that is how
But
I'm
that's in your
prepared.
house.
Oh, it's like a little.
Oh, it's a part.
box. So I'm just gonna take that.
That's perfect.
And then you layer on the other things, right? If you have a baby, it's baby food. If it's medication, if it's, animals and all those, you layer that on, for that kind of approach.
That's exactly right. So you wanna have water, and part of the problem is, and when I'm gonna do double duty here, because sometimes you don't evacuate, they say, stay in place, right? That's the order, stay in place. And if you stay in place and there's fires or disasters going around you, a lot of times we'll probably lose electricity. And if you lose electricity long enough in your house, you don't have water. I know, it's shocking. So they tell you, fill a bathtub,
Mhm.
have
Right.
water, and how much water? basically, they want you to have a gallon per person per day. Plus, of course, you're gonna have to have more water if you have pets or dogs that you take with, animals that you take with you. You wanna have a 2-week supply for the house. I just fill up old, when you clean out milk gallons, I just store those and then refill them sometimes for fresh. Food, you should have non-perishable, like Carolyn was talking about. 3-day supply for evacuation if you want to, but if you get it to a Red Cross evacuation shelter, which they do open up, and Red Cross opens them up when the county says, go, and they tell you where to go. So Red Cross can't just open up anything, anywhere, anytime. It's a command thing, and you have to be able to go in order, because that's it's almost military, the way they roll out evacuations. And so they want you then to be able to get to their shelter easily, so it'd be close to where you probably live, or maybe where you work, and they will have food. You want to have a flashlight, you want to have a battery powered or hand cranked radio. Why would you want to have a hand?
Cell service is not gonna work.
That's exactly right. And
Who
so
has one?
sometimes you can have text will work, but I've been in a blackout where I couldn't call anybody.
Where do you buy a hand crank?
I'm
You,
sorry.
Red Cross or, no, what's the, Harbor Freight?
Oh, Harbor Freight?
Yeah, and you can find them at a thrift store, like, every single day.
I bet
Yeah.
REI would have them.
Or I would have them. Yeah.
That's.
And the other thing I would, so my PhD is Homeland Security Emergency Management. The other thing is you always want to have, something that keeps your clothes dry. You want to have a little bit of, clothing cleaner, what's the word? Soap. I have
No,
a,
I'm-
I have
yeah, I'm
a,
with
I have a
you.
brain injury, so
I'm
if my
with you.
words don't, you'll know. And then, in my truck, you can go out in my truck right now, I actually have a solar panel. Right, so if the things that don't work anymore, but have the ability to be powered by the sun, get a solar panel that will integrate into your, your home, your phone, your, the little things that you need for that. And then, it could be important to get a portable, power bank that if you have anything like a CPAP and whatnot that can power it, that's why you'd get a solar panel so that you could power that CPAP. So if you don't have any electricity, that's something you'd also need as well.
And there's solar powered little devices. So you can get a solar powered plug thing, and you could have that for your any device that you might need to charge. You should always have extra batteries, a first aid kit, medications. This is a hard one, and they always say 7-day supply, but it's like, good luck, because if you need meds, sometimes they won't refill until the time that your insurance says, okay, we'll do it now. So any medical items that you might need, a multi-purpose tool that she mentioned, I don't know what I would do with a pickaxe, but good for you.
One side is a shovel and the other side is a pickaxe.
Personal hygiene, sanitation, personal documents, we talked about that. Sometimes people want a medication list, because if you have to evacuate and you do go to a Red Cross shelter, they have people that assist with, oh God, I had to get out really quick, I don't have my meds, or I only have 1 day worth, and tomorrow morning I'm gonna need more. And they're very, very ace volunteers with Red Cross. I was with their disaster team for 3 years. That will help get through and get you meds. It's really, so you should know that. There's proof of address, your homeowner's policy, passports, as Carolyn mentioned, birth certificates, insurance policies, photos of anybody that you want. If there's kids and that you have children will change. Try to have, if there's, a disconnect somehow, it's good to have pictures.
Cats and dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, cell phones with
Tortoises.
chargers, family and emergency contact information, cash. I have cash in my box. Why would I have cash in my box?
ATM isn't gonna work.
Because what?
The ATM isn't gonna work.
Nope.
Internet will be down. I think that's a.
Yeah,
Well, getting cash out of the ATM isn't gonna work.
no. And you can't get gas out of the gasoline things either. So then they say, if you can, you can always have a half of a tank, or if you know there's fires
Yep.
nearby, fill up.
And make sure you put a stabilizer in the gas, so it's shelf stable for a while. It'll actually keep the gas from separating and you can keep your gas fresh, so stabilizer for gas is really important.
Didn't know that. Emergency blanket, as Carolyn said, you wanna have, carrying aid, batteries, mine are built in, glasses, contact lenses, baby supplies, if you got kids, games for kids, pet supplies, all that stuff, collar, leash. I need two-way radios, if you want with a family or friends, extra keys, a manual can opener.
Yes.
Why would I have a manual can opener in my?
It's the only kind we have, really.
Yeah.
We don't
It's
have.
not-
Me too.
Well, because I'm gonna have, if I'm at home, I'm gonna go to my pantry and I'm gonna wanna open up something like a can of black beans that I have sitting in there, a can of tuna I have in there, cause I'll be able to eat that.
Have you seen those little metal ones that you like just flip the tab?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love them.
you love that?
Metal what?
The can openers, they're like very minimal. It's like two pieces of metal and you kind of, it just somehow uses leverage with the handle. They're great.
You can also buy the cans that have the full tops.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Food
pull
drives like
those. I
the,
can't pull
yeah.
those.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, so anyway, whatever works for you guys, but keep that in mind. The refrigerator, they always say you keep your refrigerator door closed unless you really want in and have to get something out. But that's not gonna stay, the freezer stuff's gonna.
Hey, Sue, can I chime in real quick? This is Jessica.
Sure.
Hi. Other than like life essential medications like insulin, we can live without communication. We can live without a lot of things. We can live without our IDs. But when you mention water, you can't live without water.
Yeah.
And so even though I might not have my whole perfect emergency kit, the one thing I am very dedicated to is my water supply. So for me, I also have a water purifier. I keep 24 gallons of water in my home at all times. But a really cool trick that somebody taught me a long time ago is I get the 1.5 liter 12 pack from Trader Joe's, and I keep my bottom freezer shelf stacked with those waters so that they're frozen. And that way, if the electricity goes out, you buy yourself a little bit more time with your refrigerated goods.
Wow,
So that would be my chime in.
that's great.
Yeah, the other idea to go off of that one is that if you get medication shipped to you that is in a refrigerated, so the VA ships me refrigerated stuff and all of those, the ice packs that they send, I put that in my second, freezer, and my second freezer is full of those. So if something does go off, that'll at least keep that cool for a while.
You wanna be able to, sometimes they say, bring, have a whistle, if you're out.
I got my whistle on you.
Good job.
Yay.
Yeah, matches,
I
reindeer.
just came from the
towels,
strike line.
blah, blah, blah. When you get to a Red Cross shelter, by the way, they will give you a skinny cot, and then they'll give you a tiny blanket. Then, they won't give you a pillow. So if you have to go anywhere, I would always say, "Can you take your pillow?"
Or a soft sweater or something to use as a pillow.
Yeah, yeah,
Can I say one more thing about the three?
yeah.
I'm trying to remember how this goes, but my husband takes a pill container, fills it with water, puts a quarter in. I don't know how the quarter floats, it doesn't, maybe it does. And then he freezes it. And if your freezer's, if the power's been out for a while, if that little thing is, if the quarter has lost being up high and it's gone down, your food's bad.
Interesting. Oh, I never heard of that.
He's always thinking.
Kidding.
The other thing you want to remember, to keep in your vehicle is toilet paper and a roll of paper towels.
Yes.
I'm
Yep.
just saying,
I got wipes in my,
Yeah.
a little kit.
Life's so good.
wipes are good.
Okay, then you gotta make a plan, and this is Laura's
Yeah,
stuff. She's impressed and heavily and done an ace job, by the
Very
way.
kind, my thank you, my peers, very kind of you, Sue. Want to take it back, because Julia, did you have a thought on water when we were talking about that or something?
No, I mean, I'm just gonna share openly, like, this is overwhelming, right? Because I wanna go now and get ready. But then I'm like, my husband's gonna laugh at me, he's gonna be like, what is all this?
No, you're not.
So, yeah, so I think what's important, I'm just telling myself, is like, I need to phase it and go like, yes,
Yeah.
yes, like,
Yeah.
get the water, okay, once I have
Yes.
the water, and I need
Yes.
to not, like, fill up an Amazon cart right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, yes, because you're prepared, this is sounds like your line of work,
Is,
Yeah.
like your,
Yeah.
your jam, like.
yeah. That's my
And,
lane, yeah.
and I created some
And
stuff
breadcrumbs.
in a moment of time, and then I have not, paid attention.
Yeah.
So every time I touch this, I get that feeling.
Well, growing up, because my sister, relied on medication and had a lot of support needs, right? And had to have warm milk and whatnot. I remember in the nineties, my parents bought like a giant generator.
Yep.
And we had to use it a couple times growing up. Man, it sounded like a giant lawnmower. But that's what they would do. And then my mom always had to make sure she had her medication for epilepsy and whatnot,
Yeah.
But like, I let my mom worry about that. But again, I'm here because one day I'll be taking care of my sister and
Yeah.
this is like a nice refresher.
Yeah.
Because again, I haven't really talked about this stuff since the nineties.
Well, and you can coordinate with wherever she's getting her care from,
Yeah.
because they damn well better have a plan.
The regional center?
Oh, the provider that's providing the services for your sister.
Yeah, and you're gonna ask them,
You're
what
gonna
the
have to
redundancy
say what
is.
we're planning. And Laura, we'll talk more, but, yeah, this can be very overwhelming, but I'm telling you, I've used it when I've had to, and it was helpful.
Yeah, no, that's great, yeah. And that brings us to a good point, Laura speaking here, that, we're talking about the County of San Diego Personal Disaster Plan for people who may need assistance. That's everybody. So disabilities, you don't necessarily predict when that's gonna come up and when your gonna be ready. And you could have a disaster coincide with a new disability or a dynamic disability that has flared up. This plan absolutely, I strongly believe, is for everybody in San Diego. I also think disaster planning is akin to trust and estates will drafting. You're gonna do it another day. This is not a fun topic. It might give you anxiety, rightfully so, but as a skydiver, if you make a plan, it's not an emergency. You just move to the next plan. And so that is a great thing, actually. And also you can remind yourself, this isn't a parachute malfunction right now. You're all right. We're all safe. And so top of the list, water. But everybody can triage for themselves. For me, it's going to be medication, making sure I have medical equipment. It's going to be my service dog, making sure I have any of his vaccine records, anything he might need that I can get into a hotel or wherever I might need. So I think that's really important. The plan is fantastic. I believe it was last updated in 2021 and much care was taken. It was done in conjunction with the County of San Diego Health and Human Services, Aging and Independent Services. They've done quite a lot. There's beautiful art throughout the thing that is gorgeous. But I'm wondering what people think about everything. These plans are in the middle of the table. Would this be a good enough time to play the video? Because Michelle, there's a video that's just auditory. There are images and it's the art that is taken from the plan, or would you like to do that after this?
No, this is good.
Or I'm actually doing it, sorry. Yeah, I'll continue talking. So this is a 47-page plan. I got very overwhelmed going through it.
I can imagine.
It's great info. It's really phenomenal info. My understanding is that San Diego County, and I feel this, is more prepared than a lot of places in the country. We also are more likely to have a disaster, unfortunately, and that's a good thing to know. Sue and I were talking about this and realized there's no table of contents. We thought that was something very interesting in a 47-page document. That if it is an emergency, if you want to look at something for your sister as a caregiver, there is no table of contents. You need to thumb through, and it is very visual. This guide is extremely visual, which can be good for a lot of people. I find it sensory overload, even though I am very much a visual learner. For me, the art is beautiful, but I find it personally distracting. It's very colorful. It's sort of geometric. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of representation.
Is it just like designs or is
It's people, people with service dogs, people in wheelchairs, people with walkers, people with cell phones. It's just beautiful, beautiful art. I'm not sure where it was done.
It's kind of abstract.
Yeah. It is abstract.
Art, yeah.
Yeah, the people don't have faces. They all have large bodies and tiny heads and feet and hands. It's just, it's got a distinct style to it that's quite lovely, but
so for the pragmatism?
That's my thought.
It also sounds, obviously, I'm not looking at it. I'm gonna guess it doesn't have an index.
No.
To me, an index
They strip table salt.
Yeah, that's a
would be even
great
more
point.
valuable than contents are great. Not saying don't do it, but index is even more critical because it sounds like, just from everything that you guys have all been talking, it sounds like it's for all disasters. And that's like really gigantic. So it would be fire, it would be floods, it
Yes.
would be. Yes.
Tsunamis and, yes.
So
Earthquake.
an index for me would definitely help, maintaining if we're dealing with a flood, if we're dealing with, some of it will overlap, of course, but a lot of it is specific for that. That's all.
Yeah, so I will add that I think possibly a short vocabulary list could be helpful. It's very important to note that there are 2 plans done for the county. I'm speaking loudly to those online. The plan that I'm calling, and please forgive me, but I don't know how else to call it, is for regular people or those without disabilities.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, thank you. But I'm saying that on purpose though, because I don't want it to be like.
Normal people.
Yeah, I think that this is absolutely good info for everybody. And again,
Shouldn't be.
everybody will be disabled at
Yeah.
some point in your life. If you are lucky to live long enough, find me the person that's never had a disability and lived to be old. We should all be so lucky, honestly. So one thing I noticed is that there was a it was a glossary, that's the word I want, in the non-disabled plan, but
So you
not
could
one.
also just say for everyone.
Yes,
like,
thank you.
instead of saying
Yeah.
regular.
Thank you. I am struggling, but I don't know that that one is for everyone. So it's not. I don't think that's accurate because it's not for people with disabilities. So that's why I don't have a term for it. And I don't want to call it for everybody because it's certainly not. I would like to do a side-by-side comparison
For
of the plan.
differently challenged people.
Let's just agree that we don't have a phrase for it and let's
Okay.
focus on the substance here. But I would like to do a side-by-side comparison to see what might be in the plan for people who may need assistance that's not in the other one and vice versa. And I think a glossary is a great idea, as is a table of contents, because actually, if you're not going to read this, if you just go through the table of contents, you get quite a lot of good information and you kind of can zone into what I might need. Oh, page 14, you're home. I need to look at that. I know I need to do a kit. Well, that is on a different page. Page 40, the Go kit is on 3839. The Home kit is on page 40. Those are 2 different kits, which is a great thing to know. So, I think there can be a lot done here. I mean, I don't know when the next iteration of this is going to happen. I think we will have an opportunity to give input, and we're trying to get that out there now that we would like to. So The other thing I noticed is that this 47-page plan, I was able to do a shortened version of that that's 10 pages. So it doesn't have the art, it doesn't have the layout that is really truly lovely and would benefit a lot of people. But for other people, I think it's good to have this info in a couple different,
Options.
forms. Yes, exactly, for different learners, for different people. So the other document that was created is a Cliff Notes version. There's definitely typos and errors in both of these documents for now, but I think this could be something that perhaps could be used as we talk about other ways to improve this in the future.
So in our plan, where our strategic focus document, where we put what are the gaps or barriers, and then what are the recommendations?
Mhm.
One of the recommendations might be do a side-by-side and or add a glossary and a table of contents.
Well, the side by side would be here because the recommendation would go to the Board of Supervisors, right?
What does a side by side mean?
It just so you can see what is missing from one book to the next. And then say, okay, well, why is it in this book for people that are disabled and not in this book? Because it could benefit both. And maybe they can actually just converge to a book.
I also wonder if just maybe it's stated better in one place than the other,
Yeah.
or maybe a combination of them would be better, So
Yeah.
I think it's a fun project for someone like me who likes to edit. I'd love to have the time to just go, I still plan to do that, because there might be some info in that other one we need.
Right, so we need to know where the other one's at and what is.
It is online.
Yeah.
They're both presented online on the county's website. I assume there's hard copies of that one as well. You can print it out online. There are accessible versions of these as well for different people. But there is one of the county Office of Preparedness, Disaster Planning. If you Google it, there's links to both of them, and it shows the cover of both. So you can identify it easily if you're able to see that.
And I think one of the things you and I talked about was one of the recommendations we could potentially put forward is adding Braille to this book.
I love that. I don't know. Yeah,
Right.
it's something I just don't know a lot about. But
Because two things are absolutely guaranteed to happen in an emergency. It doesn't happen, like she said, when you want it to happen, but it also doesn't mean that your family is together when the emergency happens. So if you have that person at home that maybe is more sight impaired or whatnot, you need to assume that everybody's gonna be together when things go sideways, because they usually don't.
And I would trump that, and I would say, I think they need to have a screen reader accessible document
Yeah.
online.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm just gonna share, like, my kiddo's dyslexic, so I'm learning about how she thinks and how she's interpreting the world, which is a lot different than how I do.
Yes.
Yep.
So she does speak, she has a lot of accommodations in school right now. So she does a lot of speech to text and text to speech. So you're absolutely correct. I would.
And-
So I have a brain injury that mimics that issue. So look into Open Dyslexic.
Yeah.
If you don't know, it's a font.
What?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
I wrote a children's book that has Open Dyslexic, so I'm familiar with, because brain injuries are kind of interesting. Anyway.
Because Braille is huge. A 47-page document would be like 200,
Right.
400 pages or
Right.
something.
In Braille, makes
And
sense.
yeah,
Okay.
they're huge, and not every, younger blind people don't do Braille.
Okay.
What do they?
Screen reader.
Screen readers, and
Which-
texting. And for speech.
Oh, right.
And those might not necessarily work in emergency, I suppose, too, right? Your screen
Right,
reader?
because or the other thing is you'd have to go through 200 pages to try to
Right.
find what you want.
Maybe if it's voice prompted, to find your specific issue that you want it to skip to right away.
Yeah,
Mhm.
this is Jessica. I used an audio reader to listen to the two-part plan that we were all sent out. And I mean, it included every punctuation mark, some kind of bizarre description of the visuals. It was tough. So I couldn't agree more about Well, one, we need to have it even if it's tough. It's better than nothing. But it would be great if there could be some kind of way to queue in to an index. That would be like much more accessible. Thank you.
Are we gonna watch your video?
So
Yes.
when-
I think
Oh,
you,
go ahead. No, I'm good.
And one thing to say is that, Laura speaking here, that these plans, both of them are available in 12 languages, which is great. So we can, Todd, if you want to show us the video, which is about a 3-minute video.
The County of San Diego's Health and Human Services Agency, Aging and Independent Services, is committed to our growing community of older adults, persons living with disabilities, and caregivers. The good news is we are living longer. And as we live longer, our region needs to work together to provide a community where everyone can thrive. That's why Aging and Independent Services has developed a plan, a roadmap, if you will, to strengthen San Diego County's comprehensive care. Aging and Independent Services 10-point regional plan includes caregiver support, safety, silver economy, medical and social services system, social participation, dementia-friendly, health and community support, housing, transportation, and preparedness and response. We can all benefit from emergency planning. The County of San Diego's Office of Emergency Services and Aging and Independent Services created this video as a companion to the personal disaster plan for people who may need assistance, to help people of all ages and abilities to prepare in the event of a disaster. Emergencies can range from falls in the home to fires and earthquakes, and each person has specific abilities and needs during a disaster. This guide will help you evaluate your needs and make a personalized emergency plan so that you and your loved ones can be better prepared. Follow 4 easy steps to prepare for any emergency. Here's an overview of what you'll find in our online version or our printed guides. First, get connected. Preparedness is all about people, and the first step in disaster preparedness is building a support network of people who can help. So think about your social connections or groups you already belong to or have thought about joining. The support network will include anyone who can provide help during an emergency. And don't forget about the free 211 call line where you can be connected to 6,000 plus services in over 200 languages, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Next, let's make a plan. Emergency planning starts in your home. This includes smoke and carbon dioxide detectors, utilities, and a review of your insurance coverage. Work with friends and family on evacuation planning. Know your evacuation routes and think about any medical equipment you may need. Planning for different emergencies should consider your unique needs and varying levels of ability. Once your plan is in place, it's time to gather supplies. Most disasters, big and small, happen unexpectedly and fast, and sometimes you may have to survive on your own. We've provided a checklist of items you will want to have on hand at any given time. Pack a go kit for when you must leave in a hurry and a home kit for when you must stay. For those who would like or need assistance, our guide provides printout communication boards to aid in communicating your needs with others. Once you have your connections, plan, and supplies, it's important to stay informed. Register your cell phone number, voice over IP phone number, and email at readysandiego.org/alert San Diego. This is the county's emergency mass notification system used by first responders to notify you when there's an emergency in your area. You can receive evacuation instructions and disaster information through calls, texts, and email. San Diego County is also prepared with a toll-free San Diego Access and Crisis Line for emotional and mental health support. The County of San Diego's Office of Emergency Services and Aging and Independent Services are working together to create a region that supports and leverages the strengths of our growing older adult population. Join us as we help San Diego County age well, live well. Together, we will build a brighter, more resilient, and prepared future for people of all ages.
Thank you.
If you have arthritis or joint pain,
Right, all of us.
for arthritis and joint pain, the first one is Allergan. It has a compound called oleocanthal, which has a similar effects to anti-inflammatory meds like ibuprofen, which helps keep your joints healthy, flexible, and pain-free. The second
is a type of writing that if you don't have dyslexia, you don't notice the difference. You'll notice it because they're enhancing the curves of the line or whatnot. but, it is something so fantastic that if you do have dyslexia, your brain will pick it up. You will read as it is written instead of reversing, right? So, I'm gonna, my recommendation, which, I'd like to talk to people about it first, of course, but I think our first great recommendation would be to have the county consider recrafting this personal disaster plan in an open dyslexic font.
Governor's dyslexic, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I did not know that.
I showed my daughter the videos of him talking about it, so she's.
But what did you say?
Newsom is,
This is Julie Newsom's dyslexic, and there's videos of him talking about it, so I share those with my daughter, like. You know, unfortunately, like her grades do not showcase her, her brightness.
Yeah.
So I, you know, hey, this gentleman is our governor, you can lead like this too, and just work with people, but like, don't let this hold you back. She's in 6th grade, it's a really big deal. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big.
So I love that you're saying that, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
Connected
so,
dots.
what do you guys think about that? Cause, again, if you're not familiar with open dyslexic and you don't have a brain injury, you don't have a cognitive, disability, you don't have any of those issues, you will not notice the difference. But if you do, your brain will immediately recognize and be able to read it without help. So if your daughter was, God forbid, when she gets a little bit older and, you know, she's at the house by herself, she could read this by herself without you.
That'd be great.
I do
Right.
want to make the point, Chair Laura here, that it's not anybody who's dyslexic will use that font and be able to read it. Look, I just want to be very clear. It does help. There is research on it,
Yeah.
but there is mixed research on it.
Yeah.
It is clear that it is helpful for a lot of people and it's a free font, so that's great.
Right.
But I just want to be careful that anybody listening that they might have that and still struggle.
Got it.
Well,
So what we
and
can,
if there's my understanding is if there's a document and you want to change font, you can do that on your own. You pull up the document, you say, change the font, and a lot of websites allow you to do that.
I've never done it.
yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
in
and-
support of that recommendation. I don't know if it should be our first recommendation because I think the index is what I would vote for the first
Yeah.
recommendation, the primary recommendation, but I definitely support any tools that help specific disability communities.
Yeah, because remember, the recommendation is just that. This is not the end all be all, and there could be 400 recommendations on sort of the same, you know, lane of what we're talking about. So, the recommendations that we put out will go to the board of supervisors and it goes down their trail and they do what they do with it. Right? But this gives us an opportunity to tell them something that we don't, you know, they may not have known. If they do know, they'll be like, hey, thanks, we knew that.
Well, you know, you and I don't agree on that, Caroline. I think that our reports to the Board of Supervisors should be very strategic. And I don't think we should just be sending unrefined things all the time to the Board of Supervisors, because then they're going to, in my opinion, and I think Umberto was very clear in this as well, that there's a strategic way to engage the Board of Supervisors. So I personally do not support just sending recommendations to the Board of Supervisors. I would prefer that we have refined recommendations, and even more so, as Umberto taught us, find a supervisor who wants to sponsor our recommendation and allow them to participate in the drafting of it and bring other supervisors on board and make strategic votes on those recommendations.
Yeah, I totally hear you. Don't disagree. And remember, perfection is the enemy of good, right? So, Brennan.
I just want to say I totally agree. I think table contents is probably number one.
Yep.
And I think the font thing is like fine since it wouldn't negatively impact anybody.
Yeah, I don't
Right.
think so.
But I mean-
There's no research to that I've seen.
I'm just looking at this and I'm curious if it's these pages that make it get at that visually like overwhelming
Yes.
sense, because once it gets here, it's super clear.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
usually kind of do that towards the camera now, because
Yeah.
for anybody who can see that, I did
So,
find it
This is
overwhelming.
just art and there's nothing of value there.
I mean, it is a value, of course.
Well, like on this page, on this page, there's nothing, it doesn't say anything. It's,
No.
but I mean, this is, just says get connected, but I think, I'm curious if that's what's like so visually overwhelming.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And then it just gets nice and clean after that.
Yeah.
and even the video,
And
like
it
that's,
stayed ink and cheaper.
Yeah,
That's exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make the point that this art is beautiful. We want art. We want to support art.
Yeah, large great.
We could use it in
But-
different packaging and in different ways,
Yeah.
probably. And I did have the thought of like, that one page in color, and there's multiples of that in there.
Yeah.
How much does that cost?
yeah,
When you could do a table of contents, possibly a glossary, possibly, and an index for the same cost. I'm making that
Yeah.
up, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's $4.15.
okay.
Just want to share, I created a manual for families navigating the Me Too issue in their home. And I tried to make it aesthetically pleasing, but also like, let's get to the content, let's get to the base of this. And I'd be willing to share that with this group somehow, so like just an organization of it and like how it looks, because I worked on it for 3 years. And I steered away from like a lot of art, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of action items and links in there, so.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I think we need to move on. This is great, but I'm a little concerned about getting it over. We went, we're going long and that's fine. This is meant to be this way. Learning thing, and then what are we gonna recommend? Go ahead, Lauren.
So, I mean, two of the documents, for this meeting were a table of contents and, like I said, it could use a little bit of work, but it would be great if everybody looked at that. I do have a note on it that is just draft, but table of contents created by the San Diego County Committee for Persons with Disabilities. That would possibly be great, right? If it were to move forward. And so I don't think we need to go over the table of contents, and I don't think we need to go over the plan in detail, but the short version that I'm calling an outline, I also added that outline created by the San Diego County Committee for Persons with Disabilities. And that one, I would like to review more closely myself to see maybe if I left something important out. But there's just absolutely great info in here. For instance, you run out of water, you have water in your hot water heater that you can drink.
Yes.
And the hand crank radio is great. There's battery radios, but you gotta have the backup batteries. But there's truly great info in here. I thought, you know, and this is just because this might interest you, but I thought there could be a bit more info for service dogs and people with assistance animals, probably for ESA animals as well. You all inspired me to do the Red Cross's first aid and CPR for dogs and cats. $25. And so I got a certificate that's good for 2 years, but there was stuff in there that I was like, that should be in there. And so I didn't write a lot of it down, but I will go back and pull some stuff out. But it seems like we could make some very practical, easy, well-written recommendations for the board to consider on this. And we have, I don't know, like, how the project plan that.
I apologize. I get very confused when we refer to this group as board. Because we're.
Oh, no, I do meant the board of supervisors, yeah, yeah,
Okay, so then okay.
yeah.
And I do think we really ought to, here, one of my agendas is to possibly work in a collaborative way with the Office of Emergency Services with the county. And do more work with them front end before we go, for instance, to the Board of Supervisors if and when we break recommendations. So we suggest to them just what we've just said. Because long-term, I think if we do well in a collaboration and make this even better and more comprehensive, because there's a ton of information out there. A workshop at the Live Well.
Ooh, yeah. I love that.
that's a really good idea.
And I think it would really work well. And I know on page 7 in this document from Laura, for instance, Michelle, I'll read it to you.
She's not there.
She's not here.
Oh, Michelle, left?
But Jessica's up, but whoever, let's read it anyway.
Oh,
for
I'm
whoever's on.
sorry. It's
She's in.
SDG&E, sometimes turns off your power. It's PS is what they have with the committee, and public safety power shut off.
Mhm.
And they also send a lot of notifications out. And I will tell you that if you have electric, power equipment, like I do, power chair,
Mhm.
CPAP, all that kind of thing, they will sometimes give you a little tiny generator.
Emphasis on little tiny.
Well, it's just, I live in a big neighborhood. I don't need I have a 2-bedroom house. I don't need a generator because I live out on a ranch in Fallbrook.
Mhm.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
So I don't know sizes of generators, but it's like a portable that you can have in your house.
I will tell you that program does exclude certain parts of the county because they use the climate equity index map. And so it's not always accessible to every special rural county, which I think is weird. And I've already asked them about it.
Oh.
So just be aware of that.
Yeah.
Laura, here, a couple other things to point out, starting on page 18 in the actual plan, it discusses the vial of life and has that form in there. It is perforated, so that is good.
We talked about
Yeah, we talked about that. It is. Another great resource are the checklists for the Go Kit on page 38 and the Home Kit. Yeah, there's that on page 40. And there is that communication card that we saw a similar version of in another context, starting on page
Yes.
42.
The sheriff's department.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At Red Cross uses them in the shelters for people that come in and are nonverbal or have a cognitive developmental disability.
Or even are injured.
Oh, yeah, exactly. They have cards that say, I need water, or I'm sick, or.
Yeah.
That I notice is not perforated. So that is a crucial thing that you need to be able to take out and use both sides of to communicate. It does also go along with like an alphabet and numbers that are laid out on another page next to it. But it's a great resource and it's not easily used in this form.
Right.
Yeah.
Or the.
Because Laura and I had a conversation about some of these things should be perforated so that you could put a slip paper on your fridge and, drop that in, right? Because so your kids can assess it. If something happens to you, she can pull it out. The reality is those things could happen. So
Yeah.
we want to prepare them.
Forms that you do,
Yeah.
you're supposed to put on your refrigerator.
Better to have than not need, need not have.
Mr. Spelling fridges and magnetic.
You know what?
You know, it's a pain.
You know what?
I didn't either.
My truck that I learned can't put any things
Yeah.
on.
Okay.
It's aluminum. Anyway, so we are coming up. We've got about 5 minutes left. And
About to wrap it up, Laura, do you have stuff?
I don't have anything more to add here.
This is
Just
great.
Everybody look
Thank
through
you
it.
for
There's
all the
so
hard
much
work.
good info in here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Make a plan is the big one, but yeah, everybody needs to sort of triage for themselves, for you, what is most important. It's not gonna be the same for everybody. And one last thing I want to say is in the intro, which is page 2, page 1 is the cover, which is kind of weird. But in the introduction, it says this guide supports older adults, people with disabilities, caregivers, and others who may benefit from help when planning disasters. Who's that?
Everybody.
Never knew.
Yeah. All right, fabulous job, both of you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for making that fantastic table of contents. So we are going to move on to committee business. Our organizational goals, they have not changed. Oh, organizational goals. And our future meeting structure.
I don't know what organizational goals.
I didn't make.
How are
this
we
one.
gonna be awesome?
Oh,
So that section has been discussed as to whether the organization wants to recognize people in the community for above and beyond contributions, as well as if how the committee wants to participate with board of supervisor meetings. We've talked about everyone being able to join in and dial in on. If there's anything that,
Oh, I'm sorry, Michelle.
any structure that we want around the interaction with the Board of Supervisors, those are some of the items there to consider and make any determinations on. And then as well, determine whether that needs to still be on the agenda.
If we don't have anything in interest of time, agenda item number 9, new business. The one thing I will say is we should be crafting our thank you document and certification to everybody that participated on the board or on the Live Well. So the DA, her staff that presented, the officer that presented for the Blue Envelope program. So we need to make sure we craft our documents. Thank you, Sue. You're fantastic.
Yeah, I wanna not be secretary anymore. It's
We-
We know.
Laura and I already talked about that.
Okay.
You've
So
done
I'm
it.
just saying,
Yeah.
So,
I'm giving everybody a heads up.
so elections are coming soon in January.
Yes,
so
I heard about
we're
that.
The executive staff, we're getting there.
Position.
So if, Sue, I see you writing that down, so, that was.
I got 2 letters down here, I'm on it.
Okay.
do my best.
I want to say it, so I
I'll
I
do
did
my
forget.
best.
Do we have any other, letters that we need to get out that I wasn't thinking of? The emergency services guy?
Not that I know of.
For Nick, we just. could
Well,
be ready.
Nick
Yeah,
was,
He's
yeah,
gonna be here in December again, it looks like, to talk about hazardous.
Yeah.
Hazards.
maybe we can present it in December.
We might get I don't know, a draft going.
Yeah, yeah, because he's been here several times now, right? So maybe we can recognize him in the community.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
yeah. This topic makes me uncomfortable, I'll say always, because there's so many people who deserve recognition that it's just
Yeah.
like, I'd want it published in the paper and submit like, it's too much.
Yeah,
And
okay.
it can always be, it could give the appearance of impropriety,
Right.
even if we
Yeah.
never had it.
Yeah.
Right,
I'm sorry,
so,
No, I agree with you.
yeah.
buzzkill.
So it's so sensitive of a topic that, we almost may just skirt around it. Yeah, I think it's sort of best to stay that way, because then we'd have to, some of you may have to recuse yourself because of this and that, and that's just a whole, can of worms. We have other things to do.
It could be that we look into who is doing that recognition,
Yeah,
and maybe the county board of supervisors and staff
yeah,
wants to give recognition. Just, it could be someone else's wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Let's throw that out there
Okay.
instead of killing it altogether.
Okay.
Recognition is important in communities.
all right.
Did we want to do anything about the guy that
I was
presented?
just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Add that as
What,
future.
you gotta
agenda
talk
item.
louder.
What is it?
I was seeing if we wanted to add an agenda item for the public that presented today about the
About parking.
paid disability parking
Mr. Padilla.
at hotels.
Okay, so that, from my point of view, that is a nightmare, because the ADA, has never strayed, in my, knowledge anyway, into parking. And especially for private entities. And so I know the state of California offers free disabled parking for people that have placards or license plates. But that's because they did that, I believe, out of the courtesy of their hearts. I don't know that other states and cities do that.
I think it's worth a conversation.
I think it's worth a conversation, but you don't wanna, from a historical disabled community perspective that I have stepped out of from, still in, sort of. You don't wanna tackle anything about the ADA because it's very controversial and people don't like the ADA because it's an unfunded mandate. And it opens up a can of worms and then tries to challenge things in the ADA nationally,
Mhm.
and it's a huge step backwards. And it freaks everybody out really bad.
Yeah.
I would second that we put it on for a conversation. Cause this is
I
clearly not.
I agree. This is Jessica. I mean, obviously, the first response is to say it's a civil matter, because you could absolutely take civil action against a private entity for that. One thing I was very impressed with recently when I was dealing with surgery and pre-surgery and radiology with my upcoming surgery. The parking is an absolute disaster. And there was one point where I just couldn't handle the stress of it. So I just thought, let's just park in valet and we'll just pay the $20. And then when we came back to get the car, they said, oh, people with a disabled placard don't pay. And I thought that was exactly how it should be. I know that I'm a strong self advocate, and I've also received accommodations when it comes to hotel parking. And not everybody is as strong of an advocate or as persuasive as I can be at times. But certainly hotels have made those accommodations for me. And when it comes to addressing those issues, sometimes sure you're opening a can of worms, but also sometimes we did this with MTS and we did it with Kaiser. Some historical knowledge about our committee is when I first joined in 2021, one of our members was having difficulty with parking at Kaiser and ended up being successful with committee advocacy. A group of us went out to Kaiser and looked at the lack of parking and different things like that. And we were very successful in writing a letter to Kaiser, and Kaiser changed their policy. So I definitely second or third our ability to look at these things.
Just from a quick chat GPT, I know. It seems like it's a federal law, ADA, that they does, like, it's not really covered in federal, but in state law, it is a California law that hotels are not allowed to charge for parking for disabled.
That they're not allowed to?
Yeah, it's a state law. It's
What's the law?
CVC 22511.
Again, do we want to put this on for
Yes.
the
let's
the
discuss
meeting?
it.
Yeah.
Just-
And
And I am
it's-
gonna say that also it is in the realm of the city. Cities have the ability to make those mandates within their city, so it's not out of whether or not ADA covered it.
This
So that's all I wanted to say. I know you said it's state.
My thought is maybe, what hotel did you say, Marriott?
No, Hilton.
Hilton. I mean, it's kind of like a national, so in some states, they probably can charge, so maybe they set up the Hilton and they just thought, hey,
It
it's
doesn't
a
matter.
federal, it doesn't matter federally, so I don't know, but.
So in the interest of time, it seems like everybody, the majority of people want to put this on the agenda, right?
Mhm.
Yes, did I hear you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Just
So
the
we'll,
fact that he came.
yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
As,
so,
as staff liaison, I do need to make sure that everyone's aware of the charter and the mandate of this committee officially is for county entities.
Yeah.
But you can certainly feel free to do as individuals, you can certainly feel free to do whatever you'd like to do. As the county, board, commission and committee, the jurisdiction is around county government services,
Yeah.
programs and activities.
So.
Is that the
remember
same, Todd, for,
Center.
is that like, I know we have I'm sorry, Carolyn, I don't mean to be speaking.
Yes, it
Yeah, go
does.
ahead. I didn't hear you.
I'm just trying to understand, because I know that we have some ability to advise on legislative matters, which I assumed to be state matters. Can you help clarify the difference between county matters and state legislative matters? And also, if you could.
I was speaking to private entities and I think somebody spoke to that. So I just want to make sure you're aware of the charter. It's
Okay.
and look it up in on your now as it relates to state, legislative, federal, et cetera. The county has the Economic Development and Government Affairs Department, and that's who the boards, commissions, and committees can channel any recommendations for other jurisdictions, whether it's a city or the federal or state. it can, it would be channeled through the Economic Development and Government Affairs, Department of the county.
So we can just put it on the agenda.
Yeah. So in the interest of time, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. We are going to, without any objection, we will conclude our meeting and wish you all a happy Turkey Day.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, real quick. I know we want to break by 4:45 for the debrief. Is that correct?
Yes, well, we have to be out of the building because otherwise the cops will kick us out.
Right, right. But looks like we have a couple more minutes. For future business. Oh, shoot. Oh, it's gone. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah. All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thanksgiving.
Any recommendations can be emailed to me as the staff liaison or to the chair and the vice chair. So if it comes back to you, definitely feel free to send that out.
And you can call me, Jessica, anytime.
Thanks, Michelle.
All right.